This is Chaz Ellis, and this is the Pageantry of Life. And today, as I welcome you to this podcast, I want to just make mention of our new set and us bringing this to my home. I think my home is a place that I feel safe, that I've cultivated to be a creation of me and my husband, but it's also where words and wisdom, conversations and topics have taken up a lot of space in these walls. So I'm excited to be here, and as my first episode here, the phenomenon today on, if it's on X, if you follow TMZ, if it's been on a news show, Instagram, Facebook, you hear of the phenomenon Let Them by Mel Robbins. The empowerment to let things go and emotionally separate yourself. Let Them by Mel Robbins. But guess what? Unfortunately, we can't always just let them. All right, so I guess we're going to talk about the phenomenon of Mel Robbins and Let Them. I think what's really interesting is how this phenomenon is like the process of, and what sounds so amazing is let them. Like just let them, just let it go, let them do what they want to do. I have tried to adopt that policy, and I think that I've heard of so many people that are like posting it and are telling me like, oh, this is what we need in today's society. But as I was like watching several things, and I think that her interviews are amazing. I think it's a long time kind of statement that has been like, let them, just let them. But I think that the interesting part is that this has kind of been going on for a long time. It's just been named different. It's been basically discussed differently. And then I was thinking the other day, like, how in the world do you just authentically 100% just let them? Is that possible? Now, I think for some people, you might call it tough love, and it's like, I'm cutting that heifer off. I'm cutting that boy, I don't have nothing to do with him. But then even with family members, it's like, oh, just let them do their thing. I'm not going to give it power. And then I had to think about like, that really is easier said than done. I mean, you really are like, okay, I'm going to just let them. Well, is that truly possible? And I think when you break it down, it's because of social and cultural expectations. I mean, when you dive deep into those things, it's like we as a society, I mean, I don't have kids, but if someone offends you or your child at school or in sports, and we have so many people that we know that are playing sports, do you just let them and you just move on and you don't communicate? Well, no, because you're part of a team that's probably 15 to 20 players, and those 15 to 20 players you still have to be a part of it. And then socially, and I think it's like, I go back to like just different experiences that I have been in, and it's like a work relationship. Being in a work environment, a lot of us live in situations where that's your livelihood. That's how you pay your house payment. That's how you pay your mortgage, your car payment, for your children to eat, for you to eat. I think people probably would say that I have a dominating personality, and I will accept that. But it's like when you're trying to work together, and I've had this in my life where I felt what I was doing was 100% the right thing. And a lot of times in these team group efforts, you're like, oh, we're doing this together. And then someone makes a comment, someone doesn't fulfill their obligation, someone does not see theirs to fruition. It's just hard for me to be like, oh, well, we'll just let them. And I think for a long time in my life, with my family, with some of the work situations that I've talked about, I think I let them and I just dealt with it. But I think I'm at a stage in my life now where I'm like, the hell with that. I mean, I can't just let them. I'm going to have to call this out. We're going to have to discuss this. And I'm not going to jeopardize my success and where I'm at in an organization or in a place of employment because I just want to let them. I want to take the high road. Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. And I mean, I guess I align that with let them. Great philosophy. Have I done it several times? Yes. But I think, is it truly doable 100% of the time? Hell no. I mean, truly, it's not. And so I have been in those situations where I just like, I'm going to call a spade a spade. So when I think about this work situation in Let Them, Lex and I, my partner, opened a salon. And you are cultivating people to create a space that is inviting to people to come in feeling one way, but leaving feeling 100%, because they look it and they feel it, and it's the service you provide. But it's also a business. And I think of times in the beginning, there's so many opinions. All you're thinking about is survival. Like, you want to survive. But along the way, there was fear. There was, oh my God, what if this doesn't all work out? And I think that Lex, and so many people love Lex because he has this great vibe about him. It's like he's living his best life, and he's making you feel beautiful. He just doesn't take everything so serious. And I think this was the world that we were creating. This industry of being a business owner was like, oh shit, I have to worry about this person's livelihood. I've got to worry about managing this. Got to worry about ordering this. I got to pay this person before I pay myself, kind of thing. And so we had kind of a loose culture. Like, we're all having fun, like everybody's friends. We were letting them speak to us any which way. It was like we had created this great culture to the masses, but in the beginning, it did not have behind closed doors. And it was when the structure was established that we had gone from working in a fear-based thing, because what if we hurt their feelings? What if we didn't do what they wanted? What if we said no to them? What if we didn't do exactly what they thought? What if we didn't approve the time they wanted? They could walk out the door, and when they walk out the door, it's total confusion because you have to redo those appointments. Do you have someone that can accommodate those appointments? Are their clients going with them, or are they staying with you? And if they stay, are you going to be able to accommodate them? And that inch turned to a mile, that turned to 2 miles. It was like, damn, you got the city of Columbia. And I say that because it's like, if they were disrespectful, that I was supposed to just take that. If I rebutted, was I going to push them out the door? If they wanted time off and their books were already filled, and me saying no, were they going to walk out the door? Were they going to leave us hanging with a brand that we had created? And I feel like we did a great job, and we're continuing to do a great job. Were they going to have that kind of power to continue to just do what they want, how they want? Disrespectfulness is, almost bullying you into decisions. It was fear of our company failing that left us not capable of communicating. So we were letting them continue to do what they wanted to, have no boundaries. And I remember we went to this summit, and it was kind of a business summit. And one of the things was about navigating and managing your staff, and how we as business owners live in fear of people walking out and not being available for the culture that we've created. I remember after a year or so, as we evaluated certain things, I brought in a dear friend of mine who was in the world of management. It was in a leader position. I'll be honest with you, she was a principal. And she was like, well, it's okay to have boundaries, but it's not okay for you to let them think that they're controlling you. And so we put together a handbook, a lot of processes. And I remember the first time that we introduced it to everyone. Everybody's, oh, gung-ho, we support you, we love you. But I can remember the first person saying, well, I don't agree with that. And in the past, I would let them have that power. But I'm like, oh no, this is my safe space. This is our livelihood. If you don't like this, you can leave. And she's like, well, I am. I said, bye. I remember it was a blow, because she had been there from the beginning. And I was like, wow. So it didn't feel good, but what I realized is I couldn't let them in that work environment continue to disseminate amongst the masses negativity, lack of performance. It's like someone once said, you are only as strong as your weakest link. And it was like amazing how that link fell off. And everything just blossomed. From that moment forward, when Lex and I took control and did not let them run the show, we allowed ourselves to be in control, it was like night and day. It was like, wow, this is possible. We are capable of running a successful business, but we had to let them know that that whole philosophy of letting them just do and navigate and all that was not going to fit in the scenario in which we had established. I can remember thinking, wow, if another person quits, or if someone says that they want to leave, or someone demands more money, how do I address that? Do I live in fear, or do I address it? And I remember someone coming to me, and I'm of the mindset, if you want to negotiate something, then we come to each other and we discuss it. But if you tell me how it's going to be, then I'm going to say, okay, I accept it. And I remember we had a manager, and she said, I'm leaving. And I said, and I hate to hear that. And I really felt that she expected me to say, oh my God, what can we do? And I said, there will be another person. It will all work out. I hate to lose you, but thank you for your time. Thank you for your contribution. When is your last day? And I think it was shocking to her. And I think it was shocking to even Lex, because for so long, I had let people's emotions control me. I kind of took back that control. And that was one of the key parts that was really like an aha moment. It's kind of like Mel Robbins says, let them. I don't think you can use that in a work culture, because what it was doing was creating fear in our business. It was creating fear in us as business owners and what we were trying to create and cultivate. So unfortunately, we went from letting them do what they wanted, letting them work, and had that mindset, let them. And kudos to Mel Robbins for saying, let them. But that is not a conducive concept to have in a business. If you can establish strong boundaries internally or within your business, that is the point in which you can say, let them. That's the point you can say, let them, and wish them the best. Let them continue to do what they're doing, but they are not going to do it in your space. They're not going to do it in your house where you find your peace. I think it is so amazing what Mel Robbins has done and the phenomenon that she has created with Let Them. I respect it, but I felt it was imperative as I read the book and I reflected on how I had positioned myself in life and part of organizations and part of work and stuff like that. I think what's safe to say is I always close everything with, why stop there? I think that educating yourself, empowering yourself with knowledge creates power. And I think that if you can create safe boundaries for yourself, might it be your heart, your head, because they don't always align. Your heart and your head don't always align. But what you're doing, how you're establishing yourself, what you are in control of, and I think that's the big part. If you know that you're in control of something, then that's when you can say, let them. So take that power, know what that power is, acknowledge it, be firm in that foundation, and then say, let them. I'm Chaz Ellis, and this is the Pageantry of Life. I've spent 3 decades in the world of pageantry, owning my own businesses, and working on me being a better person. I look forward to taking you on this journey as we continue the Pageantry of Life. It has been a pleasure to have the opportunity to chit-chat with you today. Hopefully you enjoy our new space, and we will talk a little bit about that later. I appreciate you listening to me. I do have to tell you about my chair, and this was in my grandmother's home. She got this chair in 1970, and a lot of words and wisdom have been shared. I hope that I can continue to give that to you as you follow along with this journey that I'm taking with the Pageantry of Life.